today I'm here with an unhaul video. I'm probably going to be talking very fast in this video because I am racing against the clock. It is getting dark and I also am supposed to be going to my boyfriend's Christmas dinner right now. And I was like, I should film though. I should film. So that's what I'm doing. So we're gonna zip through these. So if you want more clarification on any of these books, let me know in the comments. But we're zipping through. I have 22 books that I am getting off of my shelves for the new year. So without further ado, let us get started. Before I talk about the books, I do want to talk about something very quickly. I was recently sent a pair of sunglasses that I am absolutely obsessed with. The brand is Firmoo. They come in a hard carrying case. If you are not interested in a hard carrying case, it also has a soft carrying case, which I personally prefer. I got a pair of sunglasses from them. They do have prescription glasses and prescription sunglasses if that is what your needs are. But I got the specific frames LT 4126. So if you want the same glasses as me, that is the frame. But I absolutely love these sunglasses and I have been wearing them every single day, especially in the wintertime, because if you live in Canada or anywhere with snow, then you know this. But the stinking sun goes onto the snow and reflects straight into your eyeballs and it hurts, okay? So these sunglasses have been godsend. But another exciting thing is that Firmoo just recently launched a Canadian website and it is so easy to navigate. I was playing around on it and I found my pair of sunglasses in 0.5 seconds. I got the tortoise version. It comes in 4 other versions of this frame, but I personally really like the tortoise shell look. So those are the ones that I got. But another fun thing is you can change the gradient of your sunglasses, which when I purchased mine, that was not available. So that is another fun, cool thing that they've added. And the best part about Firmoo is that it is so affordable. This pair of sunglasses was only $53.95 Canadian, and there are ones that are cheaper. So I definitely recommend going to firmoo.ca, looking through all the different frames that you can pick, all of the different gradient options. If you need prescription, also add that in, and it's still so cheap. So personally, I think that they are a great option for all of your prescription and or non-prescription needs. Because like I said, I have been wearing mine non-stop, so that's all I'm gonna say. Definitely recommend. And you should all get yourself a pair of cute sunglasses or glasses, whatever works for you. Okay, now onto the books that I am going to be unhauling. A lot of these are just books that I have rated lower than 3 stars. On my channel, any book that is 3 stars or lower gets unhauled, so that is the majority of what these books are. If there is another reason why I'm unhauling the books, I will state why, but for the most part, that is the reason. So the first book that I have is Spin of Fate by A.A. Vora. This book, the concept was really cool, but I just don't know if my little pea brain is not smart enough for the concepts in this book, because I was very lost throughout the majority of this book. So that obviously brought my enjoyment down because I was just like, what the heck is going on? But I did really like the mystical creatures in this, like a giant peacock snake. The next one that I have is The Antique Hunter's Guide to Murder by C.L. Miller. This one, I believe I gave it 2.5 out of 5 stars because I was just so bored. This book is very much a author needing to tell you exactly what is happening over and over again rather than showing you what was happening. I felt so stupid reading it because they had to reiterate everything that happened previously in this murder mystery, and it was like, yeah, I just read that. I know what happened because you literally just told me 10 pages ago. So it got very old very quickly, so I will be unhauling. Next up is At Her Service by Amy Spalding. This one was okay. It is advertised as a romance, but I really don't think that it is a romance. It's more so a journey of self-discovery for the main character, Max, with very little romance. And I think because I was going into it thinking that it was a romance, I didn't enjoy it as much as I could. I did like the self-discovery journey that Max went on though, but I wanted more romance. Next up is Diet Soda Club by Chaz Hayden, and this one I actually gave a 3.5 out of 5 stars, but I don't think I will ever reread it, so I figured somebody else can enjoy it more, and there's not really a point of having it just sit on my shelves. It's leaving, but it was a cute book. Next up, I have Eleanor and Park by Rainbow Rowell, and the only reason I'm getting rid of this is because I was sent the paperback copy of it, and that one has sprayed edges, so I would rather have one with sprayed edges rather than the hardcover. So I don't need 2 of these books on my shelves. Next 2 books are part of the same series. It is Holly Horror and Holly Horror The Longest Night. These are by Michelle Jabé Corpora camera. I read this one, gave it a 3.5, read this one, I believe I gave it a 3, and I don't see the point of keeping the first book and not the second book, because then the person who's going to get it only has one of the books, when I would rather just keep the duology together and then they can read the entire duology. You know what I'm saying? But I am kind of sad because I really love these covers. I think they're so spooky and fun. Because I'm a nice book person, I don't want to separate them. So they're both leaving. Next one I have is Losing Leah by Tiffany King. This one, I did a blind books challenge thing. Years ago, my mom wrapped up 4 of my books in manila paper, so I had no idea what they were, and I was supposed to read them and guess what they were. So I did that. I did guess immediately what this book was, but I still have not edited that vlog. It'll be here eventually, just not yet. I believe I gave it a 3 out of 5 stars, but honestly I can't remember because it was a little bit forgettable. The next 4 books are all part of the same series. It is Splintered, Unhinged, Ensnared, and Untamed, all by A.G. Howard. These are all part of the Splintered series. They are like an Alice in Wonderland reimagining. I enjoyed them for the most part. I gave them all between a 3 and a 3.5, so although I think that these covers are also gorgeous and would love to display them on my shelves, they take up a lot of room on my shelves and I didn't absolutely love them, so we're getting rid of them, unfortunately. Next up, we have Sacrificial Animals by Kaylee Penderson. I found this to be so boring. I gave it a 2.5 out of 5 stars. The concept was really interesting. It was about these 2 brothers who are estranged from their father, and then their father calls them back to their little farm because he's dying. So they both come back, and the one older brother is disowned from his family long ago because he married a woman of Asian descent. So when they come back, they quickly realize, you know, nothing has really changed with their father, and the younger son starts having an affair with the other brother's wife. And then things go down. But it was boring and it could have been so good, and it just didn't hit for me, so I don't need it on my shelves. Next up, I have 2 books from the same trilogy, but I don't own the 3rd one, so we're only getting rid of 2 of them. But it is And I Darken and Now I Rise by Kristen White. These are the Conqueror saga, I want to say that's what it's called. But everybody really loves these and I just did not. I'm realizing that I think historical fiction is not my jam. I just found them boring. I found them very slow, and even though there was quite some brutal, gruesome scenes, there wasn't enough for me. So I'm getting rid of them. Next up, I have 2 books. I think that it's a duology, so I think it's the complete set, and that is why I'm getting rid of both of them. But the first is The Alchemy of Forever, and the next one is The Impossibility of Tomorrow by Avery Williams. I read this when I first started BookTube. They were like one of the first books that I did a wrap up on, so I've been holding on to them because they kind of have a special place in my heart. But I never even read this book. I read this one, did not pick this up, so I don't want to reread this to know what happened because I think that it's like a very young YA book and I just know I'm not going to like it as much as I did when I first read it, so I figured we can just let it go. It's kind of the same case with the next 2 books. They are Shade and Shift. These are by Jerry Smith Reddy, and this is, again, I read this one. I never picked up this one, but this is another one that I believe was one of the first books that I did a wrap up on this channel, so I've been holding on to them, but I don't want to reread this to read this, so they gotta go too. Next up, I have The Unfinished by Cheryl Isaacs. This one I gave a 3.5. This is an Indigenous story, so I do want it to go to somebody who will probably appreciate it more than I did because I don't have that background. So I want an Indigenous reader to have this book in their hands so that they can read an Indigenous story. You know what I'm saying? Because it's just going to sit on my shelf and I'm never going to reread it. So that's my thoughts for this one, but it is a very good book. And then I have Ever the Hunted by Erin Summerhill. This one I liked. I believe I gave it a 3, maybe a low 3.5, but I just know I am never going to reach for this again. So I would rather it go into a younger reader's hands so that they can enjoy it. The cover just makes me want to like color in all the little spots, and therefore I need to get it out of my hands, or I will do that and then I will feel bad about it. So it's gotta go. And then the final book that I have is Throne of Glass by Sarah J Maas. I already have the UK version of this book and I saw it in the thrift store for $2.50 and I was like, I'm gonna resell that. So that was the only reason I have this book. So I figured I would include it into the unhaul because it is technically getting unhauled. I just have to sell it. Alright everybody, so that was my little unhaul video for the last unhaul of the year. Let me know down below if you have read any of these books and what you thought of them, and I will see you all in my next video. Goodbye!